Hey everyone, welcome to Real Estate Assistance Center. My name is Butch Robinson. I live in Rosemeade, been here since '86, and we appreciate everyone coming on. We're going to have two experts in the field about real estate and mortgage. The guy looking around, Dan Sexton, with Renee Mears Realtors in Castle Hills, and Amy Stinson with Academy Mortgage. Both good friends of mine and worked together for many, many years. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce Dan. We're going to go over the Rosemeade subdivision. And Dan, if you would, I know I've asked you to get some information regarding our neighborhood.
Yep.
How the market's been affected by COVID. Tell us what's happening in our subdivision.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate it, Butch. Thanks for hosting this thing. I'm excited about this, and I'm sure Amy's going to talk about it as well. It's a great time in real estate, believe it or not. I know there's a lot of doomsayers out there right now with talking about how COVID is kind of killing all the industries and stuff. Well, I think one industry that's going to really come through strong and probably help pull us through all the rest of this is real estate, especially in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We've got a ton of people relocating here still. Home values are still continuing to climb. Inventory is still super low, which I'll show here in a minute. But and specifically in the areas of the Carrolltons, the Lewisvilles, the Friscos, Planos, and that North Dallas area, we're super hot right now. Not enough homes on the market, and there's a ton of buyers out right now looking for homes. So with that, let me kind of share my screen here and just show you some data that I pulled together specifically for the Rosemeade neighborhood. And then I'll kind of go out a little bit, just a little, into 75007. So bear with me a second while I try to figure this out. Share that. And hopefully you guys can see that. This is a graph for 2020 solds from March. So this is the number of homes sold in March plus the days on market. So let me kind of point out some stuff here. So this is March. Number of homes sold in Rosemeade in March was 6. The days on market was 46. Then we moved to April. And April, as you know, as you're going to see in some of these graphs I'm going to show you, that's really when we saw an impact in COVID on the real estate industry. Didn't affect, I mean, we're looking at a pretty small neighborhood in retrospect. I mean, Rosemeade's a big neighborhood, but we're looking at a pretty micro view of the real estate industry here. But you had 5 homes sell in April, but as you notice, the days on market now is starting to fall. We dropped down to 36. And then we actually started to see, and you can kind of see it here, we went from 5 to 10. So we're starting now to see an increase coming out of the COVID scare, what I call the COVID scare. We're going to start seeing an increase in activity. As you can see, we still had 10 homes in Rosemeade sold in May, and the days on market dropped from 36 the previous month to 33. And then in June, and this was as of yesterday, I updated this yesterday, so we didn't capture any sales that occurred today, but you can see we're already one more than May at 11, and the days on market again has fallen. So, you know, the homes selling are going up, the days on market's going down. Let me see if I can find you another chart that kind of shows. Well, let me.
So Dan, I got a question.
Absolutely.
Typically in the spring, you see a big increase in home sales. Do you see that shifting to the summer?
Well, yeah, let me show you, let me just give you an example. I'm not here to tell you that COVID hasn't had any impact, because let me just show you 2019's graph, basically the same graph here. So May, 9 sold, 37 days. This is 2019. Solds in April, 11, 17 days. May, 4 sells, 8 days on market. June, 8 sells, 8 days on market. So really we're having more sales, and the days on the market is longer now. It's just because I think people are not out there. Now, if you look at the two data, this is the average sales price 2020 compared to 2019. So as you can see here, this side is 2020, this side is 2019. So as you can see, if we just jump over here to June, the average price right now of the homes that have sold in Rosemeade in 2020 is $306,000, whereas in June it was $296,000. So we've had a little bit of an increase, even with the COVID factor going on. So it's good news for the Rosemeade people. We've been 307 in May. Then it dropped off in April. Again, I think you're going to see that here was an impact of COVID right here. And then now all of a sudden, I think we're coming back out of it up into June. And then I think now, of course, we've had this resurfacing of it, with the cases increasing. So it's going to be curious to see how July comes out. But I think we're going to pretty much continue to go at a pretty consistent pace. Got one more chart, a couple more charts. Let me just show you these. This here is, no, that's stealing some of her thunder. Hold on one sec. What did I do with it? Oh, I got it hidden back here. So this is 75007. Here's COVID. I'm sorry?
We're not seeing it.
Oh, you're not?
No, I think you got to stop sharing the old.
Oh, I got to stop sharing that one. Okay, you share. Stop share. Oh, okay, I see. I can't jump around like that, huh? All right, good to know. We all are learning this Zoom technology now, aren't we? Can you see it now?
Yep.
Ooh, pretty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is 75007 for the last year. And so here you can see February had this is price per square foot for 75007. Let me go, and that's all right. Let me go through this. So you can see we're at 140, 140, 145, 147. This is all 2019. 142. Boom, boom, boom. Here in November 2019, 149. Then it dropped in December to 140, 140. Now we're starting to come into 2020, 146, 144, 148, and in June's numbers aren't in this graph yet. 148 for May, and I think you're going to see a little bit of an uptick for June on the price per square foot. But as you can see, here's COVID right here. Here's an impact of COVID, that drop right there. If you notice, that's March. Now coming into April is starting to increase. Let me stop that share. Let me go to this other screen.
So it looks like it's pretty well stabilizing.
I think it is. Let me see here, share.
Hey, Fred.
Yes.
There's a house up on Homestead Lane that just went on the market. And what did we see, Dan? 187 a square foot?
Yeah, I think, I haven't done the analysis. That's not, house sounds a little overpriced for the neighborhood, but again, I haven't looked at it. But $180, I mean, we're at 100 on an average in your neighborhood's anywhere between, 145 to 152, I think. So 180, that home probably either has a pool and is all decked out. It's hard to say. I haven't looked at that particular house.
Updates probably.
Yeah. But this chart here is showing you closed sales, the number of closings that have been for 75007. So, and I want you to, and this is kind of going to tie into the next chart, and actually and then it'll probably do a good segue into Amy. But right here, this is the summer of last year. So you can see, that we've had 70, this is 75007. Zip code, 76 homes, 70 homes, 85 homes sold in August in 2019. And then all of a sudden, the bucket fell out. Well, as Amy probably knows, what happened right in this period, interest rates climbed dramatically. I think we were floating in, sorry about that. I think we were floating in around, mid threes here. And then I think They jumped all the way, almost up to 4, if I remember correctly, Amy. And then, of course, you are. So this is the off season for selling homes. But then, now we're into April. As you notice, May was great. April took a dive, and now we're coming back out. And so I think it's pretty much the same thing. In my opinion, it's a great time to sell if you're interested in selling. It's a great time to buy because of interest rates, which I think Amy's probably going to talk a little bit about. So the COVID, I don't think is having as great an impact on the real estate industry as it is some of the hospitality industries. So let me stop my share. So
Dan, if people are interested in selling with the price range in Rosemeade, are you talking multiple offer situations?
Yes, we're seeing multiple offers in anything under 400,000 in the prime areas of the Carrolltons, the Lewisvilles, the Frisco, South Frisco's areas and stuff like that. We're seeing multiple offers, absolutely. West Plano, Flower Mounds. Yes, definitely multiple offers, especially if you get under the sub 300,000 price range. I mean, it's a bidding war. So, it's been that way for the last 3 or 4 years, or 3 years anyway now.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dan.
Absolutely.
Anyone have any questions?
If you're not on right now and you see this video later, and if you have questions, I think our contact information will probably be there. More than happy to just shoot us questions, and we'll follow back up with you.
Miss Amy, talk to us about interest rates and credit scores and how COVID has affected all this.
Well, it's funny, as I was watching Dan and all of his fancy graphs, because I didn't have any fancy graphs, but while I was watching all of his, we had the impacts to the program at the exact same time. So I was looking through a lot of different products in the last couple of weeks for people who we were not able to help in the middle of April, really. And most all of the programs that were restricted or that went away are back. So we couldn't do a jumbo loan for a while, but we can do them now. One of the things we've seen probably more prevalent than anything is that programs and rates are more credit score driven than I think they had been in the past, and meaning lower credit scores are really taking a hit because it's so much more risk averse. But interest rates are incredible. Even with lower credit scores, we're still in the 3s. So wow. I quoted a couple rates today in the low 3s, like 3% or 3.125.
So I heard that FHA was the one that was affected most by credit scores. Is that true, or? Well,
so FHA is the one that has the biggest change where credit scores are concerned. Conventional has always been very credit score driven, conventional rates and mortgage. FHA didn't really have that restriction for credit score. So if someone had subpar credit, we were almost always forced into an FHA loan. Now, FHA, if you have a credit score above 650, you're pretty safe. But below 650, FHA has some really, really strict hits to the pricing or to the rates because of the risk. It is a risk-driven market right now because investors are somewhat scarce, and we just want to make sure when they're back that we have loans that are saleable. So FHA took the biggest hit.
What is the minimum credit score right now, Amy, that you got to have?
So every lender has a different minimum credit score, of course, and we can do loans down to 580. We probably the sweet spot for us is 640 and above because those are just everyday vanilla loans, but we can do them down to 580.
So what's the difference, Amy, if you have a 640 or a 740, what is the difference in your interest rate?
Well, so right now, if you were talking about a conventional loan, you wouldn't price a conventional loan at 640. I would tell you that you're probably close to 4 to 4.25% on a conventional loan at 640. And then your mortgage insurance would be outrageous. On an FHA loan, I would probably be, I would say 2.75, 2.875 at a 740 credit score on an FHA loan, and probably 3 1/8 at 640. They're really incredible interest rates. I mean, they're historically low, and I know that phrase has kind of been overused, but they really are historically low. They're lower than I've seen them, and every time I keep saying I've never seen rates go that low before. They get a little bit further.
I know. Every time I do a video saying we're at historical low rates, I have to do a new video because the rates are falling.
I know. I've had a buyer who said they were waiting until I could get below 3, and I remember laughing, thinking, "Well, good luck." And I locked him at 2.875. No
That's incredible.
points.
So do you see the rates staying where they're at? I know it's hard to predict, but throughout the rest of 2020, you think that they're pretty stabilized now?
For a while, I think. I mean, it's the economic indicators that used to exist don't exist anymore. So it's really hard to forecast what it's going to look like. But based on the fact that we're probably in the economic situation we're in for a while, and it's an election year, those two things together would make me believe that interest rates are probably not going to shift much. If they adjust at all, it'll be in,
Post-election.
Yeah, right. After the first of the year.
Cool.
Yep.
Anything else? So you think credit scores? Well, let me go back. I have heard that when people are closing, either refinancing or purchasing a home, they're having to verify employment day of closing. Is that correct?
Wow. So yes, sorry, I hit my computer. Employment verifications have been pretty interesting. So for someone who is a salaried borrower or a W-2 borrower, we have to verify employment during the process and then within 48 hours of closing, just to make sure that they haven't been furloughed. With a self-employed borrower, we have to verify employment during, and then we have to verify employment within 10 days, verifying that they have some sort of self-employed income. We can use a bank statement, an invoice, whatever, but we do have to verify employment, right, just prior to closing, or it's not a saleable loan. So another guidance that's come out that's been really interesting is FHA, or Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have both given a lot of guidance on what we can do for appraisals and given a lot of lenience on appraisers who won't go into the houses. So that's for a refinance, we're getting a lot of appraisal waivers where we don't have to have an appraisal.
That's nice.
They're not even doing drive-bys.
No, they're actually pulling up from automated valuation models. They're pulling up pictures and tax information, giving us an appraisal opinion.
So that could be good. That could be bad.
Could be bad.
Yeah, I mean, depending on what you've done to your house, if you've done a lot of stuff to it, it's funny on appraisers. I get questions all the time about, well, hey, we put on a new roof. Is that going to increase my value? And I have to tell people, well, no, everybody expects a roof on a house. Whether it's new or not really doesn't, I mean, you got to have a roof. I mean, good for you, it's new. You're not going to get much value.
If you do get an appraisal waiver, you don't have to take it. You can request, you can say, I know that my house is worth more and I would like to have a real appraisal done. We just didn't have to find an appraiser who's willing to do it. I haven't yet had an appraiser who refused to do an appraisal.
Oh, okay.
So that leads me into what you introduced or set me up on probably a year and a half ago, and that's HomeBot.
HomeBot. I like it.
You guys go into HomeBot a little bit. That is one cool tool. It's free and very engaging tool. So you guys jump into that a little bit.
Well,
this is Amy's forte, so I'll let her talk about it.
Well, I think my initial pull toward HomeBot was there was so much information and so much valuable information. I think it wasn't necessarily that that it was information that I knew that I needed, but as soon as I got into it, I found very useful. So, for example, HomeBot, when it comes out, you get a digest and it gives you an estimated value of your property. And when I first got mine, the value was not what I would have agreed with. And I got a CMA from a real estate agent, and then found out that that value could be adjusted, and I adjusted it in HomeBot. And that gave me a whole bunch more very valuable information about what I could use the equity for if I decided to take cash out, or if I decided to sell, what investment properties around me were selling for. And then shortly after that, I could use HomeBot to look at what was going on in my neighborhood and surrounding neighborhoods as far as what else was on the market. So there was just so much information that was valuable that I decided to share it with my database. And as soon as I shared it with my database, realized very quickly that I wasn't alone, that there were a lot of people who really loved the information that was provided. And some people wanted it just to play and to look and see what was happening in the market, because the real estate market in DFW is fascinating. But some people decided they wanted to refinance, or they looked at it and thought, man, it's a great time to sell my house. So I probably have 200 very engaged clients that use HomeBot on a pretty regular basis.
That's what I like about it. It gives you a monthly update. So your home value either goes up or down. And when you sent it to me, mine wasn't correct because it didn't have the extra bedroom, bath, and game room. So I went in and changed it. And Dan, I think, did the CMA.
Mm-hmm.
And then it
Well, I hope so.
It kicked in the correct value of my home, and then also my mortgage rate wasn't correct, and it gave me the ability to change that. So the numbers all adjusted, and man, what an engaging tool that thing
Yeah,
is.
what I liked about it, you know, because I've got, I don't know, a bunch of clients on it, and I get emails from them all the time, you know, just talking to me about the tool. Number one, it gives them an automated estimated value of what the algorithm, and from what I understand is they pull all kinds of data to come up with this value. It's not just a wet finger in the air. I mean, there's a lot of analytics that goes behind determining the value. But like yours, Butch, wasn't correct due to some upgrades that you've done. So the client can easily just request, hey, I need you to verify this value. I automatically get notified, and I just quickly run a quick CMA. They kind of tell me a little bit about what they've done that they feel is maybe not right. And then I update the value, and I'm able to go in and then modify those values, and it changes all the other numbers within the system that, I mean, it can show them what, you know, the scenarios of if they refinanced, you know, it'll show what their current interest rate is. If they refinanced, how much money they would save. If they, you know, it's a cool financial tool using your home as a asset that it really is. It's the best way I know how to explain it.
And just to clarify for everyone, we're discussing the homebot.ai when we're talking about HomeBot, or is it something else, guys?
That's it,
It
Fred.
is. Yeah,
Okay, just so the people who are listening, you know, will know what we're talking about.
Yeah, so let me just share the screen here real quick. Let me share it. So this is a property that's an actual really live property. So you can see here that it shows this person's estimated value. And then I can kind of slide over here, and they don't have a mortgage recorded for some reason. It may be they've already paid it off, but you can kind of scroll through here, and it'll show you different, if you bought another home, how much could you afford based on the equity position in your house, you know, and all kinds of stuff. It's just lots of. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, if you want to buy investment properties, it educates you on that.
Right. It just shows you what that asset that you have in your home can do for you. So there's lots of, you know, it's, if you rented out a room, you know, how much you could make in monthly revenue. If you know, there's all kinds of different stuff in here that shows you what flexibilities financially you have for your.
Dan, go to markets on that. That's
markets.
Real quick on that, while you're switching screens, another really cool thing that they've come up with in there is there's a little tool, if you do have a mortgage, that'll tell you, you can put in, I want to pay another $100 a month, and it'll tell you how quickly you'll pay off the house. which is really nice because a lot of people ask me that all the time, and I have to create the amortization schedule and send it to them. And this will actually tell you if you want to add a little, how fast you can pay it off.
All right, hold on. I'm trying to get to where I can, back to the beginning.
So if anyone watching this later or currently, if you guys want to have access to this, you can, I guess, email me, and then I can forward it to one of these guys, and they can send HomeBot to you.
And what's
My
your
email
email
is
address,
on the
Butch?
screen.
It's free. It's a cool tool.
And your email address for those who are interested, Butch?
Fred, are you going to join it?
He's
I'm just saying that the people who are listening, you know,
yeah,
they
he's
want to
just
hear
asking
your
a really
gonna-
good question.
We're gonna send out an email to everyone anyway, but my
Awesome.
email address is Butch R2414 @AOL.com.
My email address is actually on the screen as well right now. It's just below my picture.
Awesome.
Aren't you fancy?
I
Mine's
am
Dan
fancy.
at reneemears.com. Our office is located in Castle Hills, which is on the edge of, it's considered Louisville, but it's actually on the edge of Carrollton, Louisville, and the Colony up there, Josie and 121 area. So, but yeah, I'd love to help anybody out that needs to kind of understand what their home values are. Plus, I post a lot of stuff on Facebook. You may have seen it, you may not have. Hopefully you have. You can go in there and it automatically generates a value for you, and you can go in there and register your property, and it automatically adds you to HomeBot.
Fantastic. Well, any questions? Cool.
Nope, I
Thanks for putting
appreciate
this
you
together.
again. Yeah, thanks for putting this together. And you know,
Absolutely.
also, if you are, just a shameless plug here, Butch, if you got a second, if someone is looking to buy a house and they need to sell as well, I offer a program for what we call the trade up, trade down program, where we'll get kickback some commission to them if we represent them on both transactions. So that saves people a lot of money when they're selling their house. So something to keep in mind.
So you'll do one for a certain percentage and another one for.
Well, yeah, if I represent a buyer or the person on buying their next home, I will discount commissions on the sale of, you know, listing their home. So
Gotcha.
it saves some money. Yeah, it's a good little thing to incentivize that word.
Incentivize.
Yeah.
There you go.
Make them want to do it.
Make them want to do it. Exactly.
Yep.
All right, guys. I
All right.
appreciate it.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, Butch. Fred, thanks for joining us.
You're quite welcome.
And you guys have a great day.
Thanks, you.